Hello, everyone. I'm Barbara Ham-Lee. The collective conscience of our nation has wrestled with images of violence, distrust of police, and race once again is at the forefront. And the common denominator is young black and brown men. We've heard lots of conversations about them, but not much from them. Up next on Another View, we change the dynamic of the conversation. We'll talk with Melvin Cotton, Alan Upshur, and Manny Rivera Jr. about being black and brown in America from their individual perspectives. Another View is next, right after this news from NPR.
Discussing today's topics from an African American perspective, this is Another View.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Another View. I'm Barbara Ham-Lee. Let me start with a heartfelt thank you to everyone who contributed to WHRV-FM in support of Another View last Friday. Your contribution helps pay for the programming that you enjoy on WHRV, including us, and so for that, we are very grateful. So as many of you know, I have a 32-year-old daughter named Tiffany. And several months ago, we were talking about the plight of young people. And she said, you know, Mom, you should do a show about young African-American guys who have turned their lives around and are doing positive things. They're out there, but all we hear is the negative. Then Ferguson and New York happened, and I thought about the conversation Tiffany and I had, thus the genesis of today's program. We have 3 young men, 2 African American and 1 Hispanic, who did some things wrong, but took that negative and turned it into a positive. Joining me by phone is Alan Upshur, CEO of Goeso Clothing Company. Hi, Alan. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. So glad to have you join us today. Manny Rivera Jr., CEO of Royalty Radio Media, LLC. Hi, Manny.
Hey, Ms. Ham, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Feel free to call me Barbara, okay?
Okay.
And here in the studio is Melvin Cotton, pastor of New Genesis Baptist Church in Virginia Beach. Hi, Melvin. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Alan, I want to start with you. GOESO stands for Get Out and Stay Out. And you told me...
It's pronounced GOSO.
Okay, GOSO. And you told me that it's a movement. What do you mean?
Okay, so Get Out and Stay Out is what the brand stands for, and we're encouraging individuals who live lifestyles that were negative or criminal or unhealthy to get out of that way of living and chase your positive dreams. Yes, we are a clothing company and we have clothes, but it's way bigger than clothes. We all have obstacles, we all have struggles that we've been through that we need to overcome. Mm-hmm. And it's a message for all walks of life. We all have obstacles. We can't let them hold us down. Because if us holding us down is only going to spiral into destruction.
Absolutely.
And we all need this movement. I feel as though it's not just clothes. It's definitely a movement that we all need. It's an idea that our culture needs, especially during this crisis, that through our clothing, it's just one form of expressing this constant reminder that, yes, we made our mistakes in life, but we got to keep moving forward.
Okay. So, Alan, tell us your story. What did you do, or how did you get into trouble in the first place? You're from Baltimore, right?
Yeah, I got you. So ultimately, I was always in college. I always excelled academically. I always had the good grades. I always had that competitive spirit to always want to, get the best grades and study hard. But on the other side of things, I was always very, very pugnacious. I would, outside of school and even in school, I would always get into fights. I didn't really show too much respect like I was supposed to. I started indulging heavy in alcohol, and it actually sent me to prison. The first time and for a robbery charge. And during that time, the whole time I was in there, I had a 3-year sentence. And I just told myself, man, I just got to get out of here. I wasn't focused on learning. I wasn't focusing on embracing that pain, that struggle. I just wanted to get out. Mm-hmm. And 18 months later, I got out. And since that whole time, I was focusing on just simply getting out, which is where the first part of our brand comes from, getting out. I realized a year later that wasn't enough. I ultimately went to not robbing no more, and I just switched it up and wanted to start selling drugs. Selling drugs led me to, ironically, getting robbed by someone, and I ultimately got an attempted murder case where now I'm even in more deep trouble than I am the first time. And now I'm facing an attempted murder, and during this time while facing that attempted murder, it humbled me to the point where all I had to do was depend on God because my lawyer was saying that it was looking bad. I was going to be spending the rest of my life in prison, and I realized that I had no other choice but to submit and realize that the only way I'm going to, find a better way is to, rely on God and to humble myself. I was so disgusted with myself during that case that brought doing God's blessing. I ended up getting an 11-year sentence. In that 11-year sentence, I finally realized that getting out was not enough. I had to embrace my pains. I had to be disgusted and realize I want a better life, not just for myself, but for society. And I got out on good behavior doing that. I did 3.5 years, which was another blessing from God. And I told myself and made a vow that that was enough. That way of living is not the way to go. And not only am I going to just settle for just changing on my own, but I'm going to get as many people in this world to understand that we all have to get out and stay out. And that's where the name GoSo comes from, and that's why I use clothes as a constant reminder, a daily constant reminder that when we wear these clothes that we all have our own obstacles that we go through that we need to get out and stay out.
Okay.
And that's my story.
And we're going to let people know where they can find your clothing line in just a moment. But Manny, I want to talk to you. Now, you are in New York now, but you actually lived here in Norfolk and went to Maury High School, right?
Yes.
Okay, and tell us first of all, before you tell us your story, tell us about Royalty Radio Media, LLC.
Royalty Radio Media is a media company. We do music production, we do video production, and we do entertainment management. I have 5 artists that I represent from Virginia. I have 2 models, a DJ, and a DJ in Italy as well. What we do here is we're more for the independent artists. So all the independent artists out there that doesn't have an outlet to get their music out there or for their music to be heard, we rock with
You're
them.
The ones
Loyalty is positive with their motion. Tour with them.
Okay.
We also have a radio show that's viewed in 40 countries. It's called Heavy Rotation.
Okay, Heavy Rotation. And Manny, you had some problems. You also were a good student in school. Tell us your story.
I went to Maury, and back in then, I was a good student. I was a part of a program called Hands Without Guns. I was the president of the youth program. I did a lot of youth activities. When I was in high school, my last year, I got a scholarship to the Maryland Institute of Art through photography, and all of that just came to a fall my last senior year of high school. I had gotten into a fight, and I pistol whipped this kid, and I went to jail. And while I was locked up, I felt like I had to do something still when I got out on a positive note, because I have a lot of sisters, and I wanted them to look up to me, not as this negative role model that got locked up straight out of high school, but as somebody that gave back. And I love working with the youth. So when I got out of jail, I started my own music company, and I gave and I gave. And to this day, I still give. Like, if I hear a talent in you and you strive hard for your talent just as much as I believe that you can go, I'll give anything you want for free, from videos to studio time to photo shoot, as long as you believe in your music.
And as long as you believe in yourself.
Exactly.
Okay, Melvin.
Yes.
Now pastor at New Genesis Baptist Church.
Yes.
But you have a story too.
Yes, I do.
Tell us your story.
Started back in school. My parents had split up, and money was low, and I started doing the wrong thing, selling drugs. But just like my 2 brothers that are on the show with us now, I wouldn't say I was violent, but I got into a lot of fights. And my senior year in high school, I was in the band, played drums, and had gotten into a fight, and they put me out of the band. I was looking at a scholarship to Howard University, and just turned the other direction and started. I always had a job, made good grades. I was working, and just wasn't enough money. Started selling drugs in high school, and once I graduated, I guess I graduated to selling more drugs. Had 2 children early on, 2.5 months apart, and wanted to see them to have the things that I wanted them to have, being so caught up in the world. They had to have name brand this and name brand that. and that ultimately landed me to a 47-month prison sentence.
And so when you were in prison, is that when you had some more thoughts about changing your life around?
When I had first gotten in trouble, I went to a church called Grove Baptist Church with Dr. Melvin Cotton as the pastor there, and he embraced me. Mm-hmm. And he had let me know that there was a call on my life, and that's where it all started. So prior to going to prison, I had that connection with him. You know, my parents, there was nothing they could do for me. You know, once you're in trouble, you're in trouble. But he embraced me through it all. And when I came out of prison, he made sure I went to school, and he made sure that I walked in my call. Mm-hmm. So after that, I started my company at Shelby Dunn Communications, LLC, because I used to work for a local cable company. Mm-hmm. And here I am.
And your company installs electronics and so forth in homes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when you decided that you were going to turn your life around, how hard was it to start? Tell us a little bit about, what is that process?
Well, the first thing Dr. Mariner said to me, he said, you need to change your playground, playmates, and playthings. That had just resonated with me, and I focused on that. Mm-hmm. A separation had taken place, and once I answered the call and decided that I would preach, opportunities were given to me. So with that said, I decided I was told that I needed to go to school. I started at TCC, finished at Liberty as far as my bachelor's, and then I just recently, May of this year, got a double master's from Virginia Union Samuel DeWitt Proctor School of Theology.
Congratulations. So let me ask you, Manny, was there a person in your life who also helped you to make that transition, to turn your life around?
Yes, there was a lot of people actually, but mainly it was, I had this church I went to, Mount Hermon Baptist Church, and my deacon and my pastor there, Pastor Stephen Lewis, they actually steered me in the right direction, but I was a knucklehead. I wanted to get it fast and get it quick. I still was out there, but they definitely helped me, put me in that direction where I need to be with the youth. I started doing youth events the past 2 years in Norfolk, Northside Park, and last year we gave away book bags and had a talent show for the kids. See, what I feel that Virginia doesn't have when it comes to entertainment, Virginia's not for lovers when it comes for entertainment. And that's because everybody in Virginia think they're better than the next person instead of coming together. Like,
well, we won't paint the entire...
don't want to...
Oh, you're talking about rivalries between cities and so forth. We don't want to paint the entire state of Virginia as being in a negative light, but in terms of the arts, there's competition in terms of the arts.
Yeah, and if they come together, like, we could be like Atlanta. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha.
And like a power movement, and stop fighting each other and stop, like all of this beef for nothing. And you can see it when you go to their showcases. You'll see somebody perform, and right after they perform and they get off the stage, they leave with their people that they came with instead of staying and enjoying the show. We all from Virginia. Let's all rock with each other.
Got you. So, Alan, let me ask you, when you saw all of the fallout after the decision by the grand jury in Ferguson not to indict the police officer for the killing of Michael Brown, and all the conversation about black men and during that time, give me your thoughts on, was that you? Did you relate to what they were saying?
Yeah, yes, definitely. I definitely can relate in a number of different ways. I was out Cumberland, Maryland, when I did most of my prison sentence, and it was definitely a lot of injustice out there with the correctional officers and how they treated the inmates. So I've experienced it. I've dealt with countless occasions of racism, and but ultimately, what it really truly made me think more than so much that happened with everything that's going on in the crisis. It results in me coming up with the conclusion that us as a people, we have to stick together. We have to, like the other brother was saying, we got to come together. We got to educate each other. We got to be strong within ourselves. Because, of course, we know what's going on. Of course, there's injustices going on. But there is black-on-black crimes that are happening on every single day basis. Mm-hmm. And we're not having protests enough for these occasions. But when there's, a case where, our outside of our race, injustice occurs, we protest. When basically we have to come together as our own, and we have to, educate each other more, help each other more, and have a stronger unity so we can fight these, injustices that happen out into the world. We're not strong within ourselves, and these are going to continue to happen. And that's basically the outlet that I see with everything that's going on in our crisis today.
440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240 are the numbers to call. We're talking with three young African American and Hispanic men about what it's like to be African American and Hispanic in America today. 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Alan, let me ask you one other question. Did you also, as Melvin was saying, have to change the friends that you were hanging around with prior to your getting in trouble, or after you got out of trouble? Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And I've been blessed to, while I was in the walls of prison, I happened to have a cell buddy who I was in a cell with, in Custer Brown, who was like a mentor to me. He was on the same path. And it's very hard to be in a cell with someone that long and y'all have the same wave patterns. He made his mistakes, and we've been cell buddies for 2 years. He's older than me, and he was already on the path of changing his life. He had a wife, had a child, and we basically was on the same path, helping each other. Mm-hmm. So despite us being in this environment where there was so much chaos going on, to have that small peace of mind to come into a cell with somebody who was on the same wave patterns as you was it helped me tremendously, because we would read the Bible together, we would study together, we would pray, we would always feed off each other to help the other one better for 2 years. So that was definitely key, with so much going on around me and the institutions, for me to have that peace of mind to come and have somebody on the same wave path with me to help mentor me about the mistakes he made and how I can come out in the community and help me with my plans of GOSO. We knew about GOSO before everybody in society did, because we planned it for 2 years. So definitely.
So I'm going to ask this of all three of you, but anyone can jump in to answer first. And that is, there is a picture that is painted, particularly of young African American males, that is a very negative picture, that you don't want to work, you don't want to follow the rules, that you blame society because for anything that goes wrong with you. Melvin, was it anybody else's fault what happened to you?
I have to blame myself. My father worked, he had a local bus company for 46 years. He's now deceased. He definitely instilled in me to be a working man, and through everything I've done, I've always had a job. Mm-hmm. So I can't blame anyone but myself. Now, I will say that once you find yourself in trouble, that the system is designed to keep you that way. If you make any type of decisions contrary to doing the right thing. You can't vote. That application going to ask, are you a convicted felon? You have to tell the truth, and also getting caught in that revolving door. So when this man that has a family, whether he's married or he just have children, cannot provide, some men can't humble themselves to work at McDonald's or humble themselves to just be somewhere dealing with trash. I mean, my first job was, I was working facilities at my home church. Actually, I was a janitor. Mm-hmm. It's like, wow. So can you humble yourself to make it through that? And it really bothers me, because I heard the brother say he was in Cumberland, Maryland. At that time, he was considered to be a citizen there of that city, and they get money because you're there, but the money doesn't come back to Baltimore or wherever he's from. Mm-hmm. They're calling that the new Jim Crow. Mm-hmm. So that money never makes it to our community.
Manny, what do you say to someone who says, you know what, though, Barbara, you can talk about how they turn their lives around and so forth, but the fact of the matter is they did something wrong. You did your time. Is it time for people to kind of let it go and allow and give you whatever you need in order to stay on the right path?
I don't think they should give me it. I think we should say, give me a chance to earn it. You know what I mean? Because you have to earn everything through life, and nothing's handed to you. And to go back to the other question right quick, every man causes their own action. So at the end of the day, we can't really blame the community or the music or the society, because at the end of the day, we know what we do as men. So every man has caused their own action. And it's just crazy in this world how it is now. And like, I came from a house where my mom and my dad, they gave me respect and they taught me morals. You know, it was my choice to go out there into the streets. It was my choice to get into that fight and pistol whip that kid. It was my choice to lose my scholarship, you know. But you have to humble yourself. Like he said, you have to humble yourself. Now I have humbled myself, and I still feel myself like I have a temper, and I can easily snap. But if I didn't humble myself, I'll be just like when I was younger. I'll probably be in the worst of trouble.
440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240 are the numbers to call. What do you want to ask these young men about what it's like to be African American or Hispanic living in today's society? 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. So let me ask you, Alan, what do you say to a young person who's angry, you know, who is angry at kind of the life they've been dealt and what's happening to them today? How do you help them to see a different path?
Yes, Barbara, first off, I want to say I absolutely love that question. I love it. So I've had anger problems for about 20 years of my life. And with anger, I learned about anger is that the anger doesn't have to be considered a negative thing. And I would tell someone that the anger that's in you, that energy, is not going to go nowhere. With that energy, you have to find a way to transfer it. And with the anger that I have, I get angry a lot. But the thing about the anger before was it's not no longer violent anger.
Tell me some of the things that you get angry about. Tell me some of the things you get angry about.
Okay, so some of the things that I get angry about is this crisis that's going on. When I see people who because I was the same way. When I see the violence that goes on, when I see that a 3-year-old in Baltimore is getting caught up in a crossfire and gets killed. When I see people still smashing purses, when I'm going to the supermarket, I see a guy walks past and steal a lady's purse, old lady. So these are the things that I get angry about. But what I do with this anger is I use this anger to push what I'm doing even more. I use this anger to read that extra hour out of the day. I use this anger to organize and build a better plan to help the community. I put more events. I make sure I'm available for more radio shows. I get the word out even harder. So it's just a matter of if that anger is inside of you, you convert that into making the world a better place or making yourself better or helping others. So the energy is always going to be there if someone has that energy inside of them. It's just a matter of them converting it into something that's positive.
440. Okay, 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Give us a call. Join our conversation today. We're talking with Manny Rivera, Melvin Cotton, and Alan Upshur. 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Justin joins us from Norfolk. Hi, Justin. You're on the air. Oh, I'm sorry, Tony.
Yes,
Tony from Virginia Beach. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Thank you for taking the call,
Sure.
and I really appreciate the whole topic and everything, and for your guest panel as well. I'm gonna just say one quick comment, and I'm gonna take it off the air.
Okay.
I also experienced incarceration. I was down for 8 years, and got out in 2002, and I've been out ever since. And one thing that I can say is that I do take responsibility for the most part for doing the crime that I committed. However, we do have to know and understand that everything is relevant. So believe it or not, there are forces out there that kind of control and shape, one's lives because we are a part of the society and, do react and act accordingly. And then also, just one more comment is also, now getting out, I find it easier to live in this open society as opposed to inside, with the stress and all of that. However, I did have to become self-employed because of my past, and I'm self-employed ever since, and I'm doing good, and I just want to take my comment off there, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tony, for calling in. We really appreciate that. And all three of you, I find it very interesting that all three of our guests today own their own business. Melvin, was that part of the reason because it was hard to get hired?
Yes, and then when you're used to making thousands and thousands of dollars, it's kind of hard to go somewhere and someone wants to pay you $7 and some change an hour.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Manny? Same thing? Is that why you started your own business?
Same thing. I couldn't find a job for nothing. But at first, I ain't gonna even lie. I had to cheat the system a little bit to get a job. Lie on my resume. Have somebody act like they was my old employer just to get a job. And that doesn't work after a while because your criminal check comes back.
Okay, what about you?
Comes back.
Now, Alan, you planned before you even got out of prison that you were going to have your own business. Did you anticipate it would because it would be difficult to get a job?
Not even that. I really started looking at the legacy that I wanted to leave behind. I really started studying ideas and realizing that ideas run the world. And a lot of I just didn't really want to work for anyone. I wanted to know that when I'm gone from this earth, that I left a legacy behind. Oh. And I know that to start my own, have my own company and turn this into an empire, I know that it will be something that will be here long after me. Okay. And I realized that it wasn't going to be about me. I wanted it to have an idea that I left for the world to share.
All right.
That is why I started my own.
Your own company. If you're just joining us, we're talking about being young, male, and black and brown in our society today from the perspectives of Alan Upshur, CEO of Goso Clothing Company, Manny Rivera Jr., CEO of Royalty Radio Media, LLC, and Melvin Cotton, pastor of New Genesis Baptist Church. Let's go to the phone lines. Raphael joins us from Chesapeake.
Yes, good day. My name is Raphael.
Raphael, yes.
I concur with what's being said. It's funny that employers, both major and quite a few minor employers, are reluctant to hire us because of the record, having a criminal record. The thing I find odd is that the record only tells where you've been. It does not tell you where you are, which way you're going. And the other point is that when a person goes to prison and takes advantage of the training and education and makes their life better and better themselves and come out and improve their lives, you would think an employer would look at that as a great asset. Somebody who has gone through the rough, the hard knocks, and still has progressed to, very potential employee. Mm-hmm. It's kind of odd.
Okay, let's get it from our guests and say, Melvin, I heard you chuckling a little bit. Tell me what that's about.
I have to say I love the church, which God has called me to pastor. And when I was in the candidating stage of going through the series and the process of becoming the pastor, I was open and honest with them. And I remember one of the deacons saying, we got resumes that people lied. You told the truth. And I was like, I couldn't come in here lying, but that's my past. So I think my church embraces me because I'm able to say I have one. Mm-hmm. It's one of those stories that bad guy has gone good. So I think the positive nature is that. So when Raphael said, it talks about where you've been, not where you are. That is so true.
Let's go to Justin in Norfolk. Hi, Justin. You're on the air.
Hey, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
Gentlemen, thanks for coming on the air and talking. I have a lot of respect for what you guys are doing. One of my comments I want to put out. I'm Hispanic. I'm originally from Chicago, and in the community, in my community, in the African American community, there is a lot of narcissism and egotistical mindset. What I would like to know, I know one of the gentlemen said that we're men, we need to know exactly how to be. But being 16, 17, 18, these young kids, they don't know how to be. Their mentors, their parents, their teachers, these are people that are giving them the anger. Like one of the gentlemen said that he had an anger problem for all of his life or for a very long time. Mm-hmm. But if all you get is aggression and anger taught to you, given to you by teachers or pastors or people that are put in that position because they don't themselves know any better, then you are going to just perpetuate that cycle. Nature versus nurture. It's not our nature as humans to be this angry, be this upset and saddened. Okay. It's nurtured it's taught to us.
All right, Justin, let's get some responses from our panelists. Manny, why don't you take that one first?
I think we should talk to the youth just for the simple fact that some people don't have that at home. Some people doesn't have that role model at home to tell them no or don't do this or don't do that. But people like us that are in these streets or that have been there shouldn't be afraid to go to these streets and tell these kids, look, that ain't right, man. Like, slow your roll, And if we don't have that, that's a part of unity. We need to unity and take control of that and take control of these kids because they are out of control. Some of these kids are really wild today. Mm-hmm. The whole new generation of when I was growing up is crazy. There's no respect. But at the same time, why do you think that is? Why do you think that younger people today, you say they have no respect, they're angry. Why is that? I think it's because of their parents, tell you the truth.
Explain.
I think it starts at home.
Okay. Melvin, why is that?
I would say that anger is a learned behavior. However, I think with our children, it's all about who's the tough guy, who's the tough girl. Bullying is on the forefront, but bullying, that's nothing new. I think that, they're facing some of the same things that we faced, the struggle.
So do you think but why are they handling it differently than you all did, than your generation did, do you think?
We fought. Now they shoot. I mean, I sit here as a man that have two brothers that were murdered, and just 2 weeks ago today, my nephew was murdered in Portsmouth. Last Friday, I preached his eulogy. So with that said, that anger, it was passed on. But it's gotten worse. You could fight and go home. Now they want to shoot.
Alan, do you agree with that? That it's the fact that people aren't teaching our young people how to get along?
I definitely agree with that. And to piggyback what my brother said, the media has even changed. I've studied the media differences. The shows the shows and the music from songs back in the day that spoke of love, we don't hear them no more. The music is more. The music and the media of today shows more violence, in my opinion, and the talk of drug use is way more prevalent than songs back in the day that talked about unity. There's very, very few songs you hear on the radio now that talk about unity, as opposed to a couple decades ago, or even a decade ago.
Well, Manny, you're in the music business. What do you think about that?
It's true. A lot of the music is not positive, but like I said, we all have to start from somewhere. And just like the family shows, when I was growing up, it was a lot of family shows on TV, and they're gone. Mm-hmm. If you look at TV to now, it's all about drama and remember I was telling you about, we interviewed Black Ink Crew, and we put them on a magazine. And I didn't want to know nothing about the VH1 show because to me, it's all about drama. They're the first black tattoo shop in Harlem, and I wanted to know if they could tattoo.
And that was I understand.
Talk about that on the show.
Exactly. 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Anthony joins us from Norfolk. Hi, Anthony. You're on the phone.
Thanks for taking my call, Barbara. Long-time listener.
Thank you.
Just want to encourage those young guys. Sound like they're on the right track there. That I know one of them, Todd, been knowing him since he was a child, and I'm real proud of him. I just want to say, continue on, fellas. Y'all doing a great job. I wish you could speak to some of these other young people because I agree they are really headed down the wrong path.
Okay. Thank you so much, Anthony, for your call. Let me ask you, Alan, do you also get encouragement from older African American men or men, period, in terms of encouragement, just as Anthony just did?
Definitely. I'm blessed to have my father in my life. He's always been there, and I see what he's doing. He made his mistakes in life, and now he's real estate agent, owns property, works hard, and so I look up to him for advice and encouragement. I got mentors in my clothing industry. One of them, he has a successful clothing company, Drew Beard Clothing, Mr. Delvin. So I see what he's done, and he has a family, loving wife, and I see what he's done. My photographer, another person, Mr. Carl, has a family and has a successful business, and I talk to them all the time for advice. Mentors in my same field of work. Also, another mentor of mine, Joe Maz Awards. He is the person that does our embroidery for our clothes. Has a family, is there for him, and he's helping the community. So I surround myself with people who are successful entrepreneurs and are doing the right thing, because I want to do the right thing. So these people attract me, and they're teaching me as I'm going through this new journey of starting a clothing company.
So, Melvin, let me ask you then, because Alan just talked about all the people who are mentors and who he looks up to, but he made a point to say they have a family. Or they have built their family. Is the family dynamic one of the issues that we have with our young folks?
I feel it's essential. This upcoming year, I'm really pushing family at our church and giving our youth more of a platform to stand on. But family is very important. I'm married with 4 children, and I feel that balanced household is very, very important, because men, we have something to offer our sons and daughters, and at the same time, women, you all have something to offer sons and daughters as well. Very important.
Manny, how about you? You feel the same way, that family is a key ingredient to keeping kids straight?
Family. Yeah, I think family should be a key ingredient. Like I said, it starts at home. And if you don't have family that supports you at home, then your world is going to be a roller coaster, ups and downs, left and right. It's going to be real crazy.
Okay, 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Mary joins us from Virginia Beach. Hi, Mary.
Hi. I'm a 64-year-old Caucasian woman, and I say that because I am really concerned that our whole system is about punishment and almost vengeance when it comes to the victims' family and what they're trying to extract from the person who commits the crime. And it would seem that there would be some part of our system, and this sounds kind of funny to say, like Boy Scouts or military, and I really don't mean either one, but something that would show levels of accomplishment and achievement that people outside of the system could recognize. And like hiring an Eagle Scout, you know what I mean? So that time served is not just about paying for your crime. Part of it is, but there's usually a lot of years. Seems like there would be something in the system that would enable the person who comes out of it to be respected and move forward.
Okay. Mary, thanks so much for your phone call. The phones are lit up, so I want to make sure that we can get to as many as possible. Let's go to Ramon in Portsmouth. Hi, Ramon. You're on the air.
Yes, hello.
Hi, you're on the air.
Hi, how you doing, Barbara? Thank you for allowing me on your show. I just wanted to add, just earlier what one of the gentlemen I had commented on was family. I believe that's more than key. That's the top thing of anything. A lot of us young men, black men, I'm 38 myself. I think the best thing, and I tell my son, he's 19, and I always tell him and my daughter and all of his peers and my nieces, nephews, the whole 9 yards, we could talk till we're blue in our face, but children and people watch us by action. And that's something that, a lot of us, I think sometimes, even some of these songs, I now see some of the things how my parents were when I was coming up. They didn't really stand for certain songs that I was listening to. But now with me being a parent, the same thing again. It starts at home. You can listen to some of these things and songs on the radio, and it's constantly just being programmed in these kids' heads. But from time to time, I'll talk and ask my son or daughter, like, what is this guy talking about? Like, does it make sense? Question. And at the same time, I see a lot of parents that are our age now, men and females, mothers and fathers, that are trying to be their children's friends or peers instead of a mother or a father. Okay. And that I see a big problem. I see a lot of times parents just constantly giving in on every single thing. I mean, I'm a sucker when it comes to, certain things with my daughter, but there's still a point I have to stand, my ground and can't just let her do anything, or just because, she was deprived of this or that. It's a reason because she doesn't have certain things. Not because I can't get them, because she may not deserve certain things.
Okay.
She won't appreciate them. And I just wanted, again, give hats off to you guys, and I think you guys are doing an excellent job. But I think a lot of times, again, us as men, we have to actually hold our friends and peers and relatives to the fire as well. And like when we see them slipping up and doing these things to our youth and so forth, we need to call them out on it. The same thing I would expect someone to do the same thing to me as well.
Okay, Ramon, thank you so much for that comment. We really appreciate it. Kelly joins us from Richmond. Hi, Kelly. You're on the air.
Hi, how are you?
Okay.
I just wanted to say I commend all of the speakers who are on the show today. It seems like they are, real success stories, testimonies to how you can overcome the systematic obstacles. But I wanted to know from their opinions just quickly, how could there be more success stories? Because there are so many of our brothers who have the same dilemmas, but they may not make it to the levels that, these young gentlemen have. So in their opinions, how could we have more success stories like their own?
Okay, let me do a round robin and get those answers for you, Kelly. Let's start with you, Manny. How can others have the success that you all are having?
I think that, as long as they believe in their dreams to come true, and they stay positive with themselves, that anything's possible through God. Mm-hmm. Anything's possible.
Okay, Alan?
We have to speak up. There are so many success stories out there that people are not sharing. There's so many obstacles out here that people have overcome, but they're afraid to tell the world. They're afraid to let others know what they've been through. We have to speak up. We have to be able to speak and tell people. What I do is I write at least 2 times a week to those who are incarcerated, and I show them pictures of what I've been doing. Look, this is what I've been doing when I've been home. I could do the same thing. Share it throughout the whole jail. And I get letters back saying when I get home, I'm going to start my own businesses. And we just have to share it. We have to express it. And also, I've started a nonprofit organization that I almost got off the ground, where we're going to be teaching the youth at an early age entrepreneurship. They don't teach entrepreneurship in school. Children need to know that at an early age you can start your own businesses as opposed to just, working for a business. You can become your own. Teach children how to save through their money, through financial literacy. So we have to express and talk to these children when we make our mistakes that, yes, we made them, but look at what we're doing now. We have to speak up.
Okay. Melvin?
First of all, develop a relationship with God. Second of all, connect with a good mentor. And thirdly, certain platforms like this to let those individuals know they are success stories. Usually when someone's been in trouble, it's kept quiet. But now it needs to be brought to the mainstream, so others can say, if I did it, you can do it.
How does it make you feel when you hear people say, "Oh, there they go," and they're lost? There's nothing that can be done to turn them around.
It aggravates me because I've been through it, and I'm still in it now. I say that because I'm labeled. But it aggravates me because I feel like they're making excuses. Yes, it is hard to be a black man living in America. It's not easy, let alone a black man that has been in trouble living in America, but it's possible.
So it can happen.
It can happen.
Manny, how does it make you feel when people say, you know what, you were in trouble, forget it, you're never going to be anything else? Or you hear that about other people, and you know that that's not true.
I know it's not true, and I look at it like hate. Stop hating them. Stop questioning my blessing. Why are you worried about my blessing? God got something in store for us, and as long as we believe in Him, like I said, and have faith in Him, everything's gonna be all right. Like I've been through trials and tribulations, and I'm still here, and I feel like I'm here for a reason. And the kids should too, like they're the future of this world. So they should just stop the nonsense. And like you said, like we need more outlets for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
We need more outlets for them to go to, if it's music or if it's, they want to be successful as an entrepreneur. Like you said, we need to start doing more workshops and, guiding these youth, because they are our tomorrow. And without tomorrow, it's just going to be like today.
Okay. And Alan, go ahead. What do you say?
I just keep working harder. I can't dwell on it too much. I know what needs to be done, and I just do it. I just keep it real simple. I hear what's going on. I know it's negative thoughts, and I don't let it get to me no more. I just know what I need to do, and I just keep pushing harder. If I hear it, that just tells me I got to work a little harder.
Okay. You know what, guys? I was going to almost end our session because we had another story to share, but the phone lines are lit up. We have, I think, struck a nerve. So we're going to keep talking, okay? And Let's see. We're going to go to Atkin in Norfolk. Akeem?
Peace and blessings. How's everyone?
Hi, how are you?
Peace and blessings.
Fine. I thank you for taking the call.
Mm-hmm.
The brothers touched on something which I found to be very true over the years, and that is down the lines of teaching. Too often, too many of the elders, too many of the people who knew, stopped teaching. Whether we felt we had overcome, which seemed to have been a big part of the civil rights movement, after you could go to any restaurant and hotel you wanted, we kind of stopped teaching. A lot of good came out of the Mega Man March. I was blessed to be able to be there. And a lot of folks were set on going back in the community and developing community business, developing the family, developing each other. And in some places, some of the brothers and sisters are still keeping that going, but too often a lot of that is falling aside. And I would like to say, too, that one of the big problems is we live in a lying society. Most of what we get, even in school, taught from the beginning history, there's too much lies there. And
okay, Akeem, I hear.
The victim,
I know. I'm going to have to. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to try to get to all of the calls, and you make a very good point. Let's go to Desiree, calling from Baltimore. Hi, Desiree. You're on the air.
Hi, this is Desiree, and I just wanted to commend all the gentlemen, how they went through in life, through the ups and downs and through all the obstacles. And especially, I want to send a shout out to my son, Alan Upshur, how proud I am. He is definitely a hard-working young man. Since he came out, he has changed his life around. And, the main thing with the black young gentlemen, they need hugs, they need encouragement. You have to have patience with them and speak positive to their lives. Mm-hmm. So I just want to send that shout out, not just to men, but also me being a single mom, that I just want to let the world know that don't give up on them. Continue to be right there, especially if they want to do something for them lives and make a difference in people's lives. So I just wanted to send that shout out to everyone.
Desiree, we really appreciate that. And let me ask you, because I know as a single mother, or as a mother, period, it must have been really hard for you when Alan got in trouble.
Yes, it was very hard for me. It was very devastating because we brought him up through private school, sent him the best education. But I noticed a change in the middle school when it came down to different changes about his life, how he continued to get in trouble back and forth. And I just had to keep praying to ask God to change his life. But he had to make that change. No matter what I said to him, he had to do it himself. So I just want to say that I'm so proud of him after all that he has gone through, that now he's making a difference to everyone's lives.
Okay. We have a question from Facebook, and the person wants to know, how does your reentry into society compare with your Caucasian brothers who may have been in prison? Let me start with you, Melvin. Did you notice a difference, or do you know anyone perhaps who was not African American who may have had an easier time after their prison time?
Yes, I'm going to be very blunt with this. They're more favored. It's easier for them. They do have their struggles, mm-hmm. but it's just so true. It's easier for them.
Why do you say it's easier? What do you attribute that to?
A lot of times their records are not even checked. Yeah.
So you think more scrutiny happens because you're an African American male when you go in? If two of you went into a job situation at the same time, that you'd have more.
Before I would.
Okay, Manny, you feel the same way?
Yes, I do actually. I know a lot of people from all types of different races, and they don't, especially the white brothers. They don't go through the same thing we go through when we get out of jail. It is true, you know, they are favored to the society, and you can see it, you know, like when we get out, you know, it's hard to find a job, it's hard to do this, it's hard to do that, but at the end of the day, you know, you have to overcome everything and get it while you can. You know, I had to go out there and learn how to take pictures again and learn how to record and learn how to engineer and just to make some money off of it. And it's still a problem. It's still an issue in my life.
Okay. Manny, we are out of time, so I want to say thank you. That's Manny Rivera, Jr. He is CEO of Royalty Radio Media, LLC. Thank you so much for joining us. Alan, tell us, you're welcome. Tell us, Alan, very quickly, how can people find GOSO?
www.iamgoso.com. We're also on Instagram and Twitter. The same thing. I am GOSO.
Okay, that's Alan Upshur, CEO of GOSO Clothing Company. Thank you, Alan, so much. And Melvin, you have the last word, one word of encouragement. Continue to seek God, love your family, love your friends, and never give up on anyone. And love yourself. Yeah, of course. And that is Melvin Cotton, pastor of New Genesis Baptist Church here in Virginia Beach. Those of you who called in that we could not get to, we apologize, but thank you so much for being so engaged in today's show. And we will be right back.
Hello, Hampton Road. This is Karen Clark Sheard, and you're listening to Another View on WHRV 89.5 FM.
Thank you, Karen. And that's our show for today. If you'd like to hear it again or share it with a friend, please visit our website, anotherviewradio.org, and download the podcast. And sign up for our eView newsletter. It's a once-a-week reminder of upcoming programs. And we're on Facebook, so please like us. The Another View crew is off for the holidays, so next Friday, tune in for the holiday special, A Season's Griot 2014. It's a one-hour Kwanzaa special hosted by acclaimed storyteller Madego Lloyd Wilson. And on January 2nd, we take a look back at amazing people doing some pretty spectacular things in 2014. Don't miss the Best of Another View Positive Stories. It'll be a great way to start the new year. Our theme music was composed and performed by Jay Sennett. Lisa Godley is our show producer. Victor Bowen is our audio engineer. And Frank Bilasali was a busy man today answering our phones. From all of us at Another View, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and a wish for peace in the new year. We'll see you in 2015 for Another View.